we getting some kind of echo?
Dallas.
And our producer and audio-visual extraordinaire, Tony Konachek.
Thank you. Good morning.
So speaking of explosions and music, I had an idea. You know the boom sound, like that
From like
sound?
movie trailers?
Yeah,
Yeah.
boom sound. I would love for somebody to take that sound and auto tune it into. Dang it! Now I can't think of the name of it.
And we're like just staring at you.
I know everybody's staring at me. You're probably
I'm
staring
thinking
at,
I'm thinking like, is this something I could do this afternoon?
You might be
I've
able
never
to do-
auto-tuned anything.
well, you know, like people take like a dog bark,
There's apps that do it now.
like they take the dog bark and they just remix it and it sounds like a song.
Oh, sure.
All right, so you take the boom sound, but but you remix it and auto tune it into for the Fate song, from the Laser Knights guys.
The Duel of the Fates.
Duel of Fates!
From episode 1.
Yes. Boom.
Nerds!
Boom.
What are we painting today, Doc?
I'm sorry. I just really want that to happen. I don't care how. So today I've got Skarre 3.
Whoop, whoop.
Whoop, whoop, whoop. Skarre 3 Admiral of the Black Fleet just went up, and she is a super ambitious model for us here at Predator Press. Probably our most ambitious, behind maybe the Hooch Hauler. Hooch Hauler would be the most ambitious model. This is definitely the most ambitious Warcaster, I think.
Oh, easy.
There's a lot of hard work, a lot of just troubleshooting, development, concepting, engineering. All these things went into creating this Warcaster model. I think it's a stunning addition to the War Machine and Hordes line, personally. And so I'm going to paint one up. Now, Brendan's already painted the studio version. And people have seen that when she went up for pre-sale, pre-order. And so I'm going to rock this one for
And if you want to see more of her, you can go to
Dallas.
store.privateerpress.com and pre-order now.
pre-order now. So we're going to paint some Satixis skins today. So there you can see little Skarre. She's holding the wheel of her boat. And I'm just going to start painting her. Satixis-y. And here
So-
we go.
Even with like the old sculpts back in the day of the Satixis, they have been one of my favorite sets of models that we've ever produced. These newer ones that Doug has sculpted are amazing.
They're, yeah, all the new Satixis stuff has been, I mean, look, man, this past year has been just an amazing, like, cavalcade of just bomb models. But definitely Satixis have a place in my heart. The only Crix I own is Pirate Crix. So Satixis is obviously there. And I really love that these new Satixis are definitely leaning more heavily into the pirate theme.
Oh yeah.
Even more so than they did before. And these new sculpts are just amazing.
Well, and if people want to see a little bit of the behind the scenes of the sculpting process and some thoughts from both Doug Hamilton and Nate Brooks, there is an insider that will be going live on privateerpress.com right after this stream, so around 11-ish.
Yeah, and that insider is all about the sculpting process behind Skarre. Not the concept,
crew.
but it's just the sculpting process. So.
And the ship.
And the crew. One would say the ship, the captain, and the crew.
One would say that.
One would say that.
in fact title the insider that.
One would, in fact, say that insider is all about the ship, the captain, and the crew.
So what colors are we starting off with there?
That's a really good question. Satixis skin is a very intricate recipe for the studio. I'm going to actually use the same recipe as you can see, like here lately on Get Your Paint On, I've been doing a lot of painting in that zenithal washing tabletop-y style. Scar, I'm going a little different. I'm going to paint her much more traditionally with full base coats, full blends. I'm not going to say I'm going to take her up to studio level, but I'm definitely paint her more of that direction.
Tabletop enhanced.
Yeah, enhanced tabletop.
And in Formula P3 Presents in a few weeks, I believe, we should have painting a Satixis skin tutorial for you.
Sweet.
We shot it. We'll just be releasing it in a few weeks.
Yeah, we shot that, and we used a little Blood Priestess, which is, I think the Blood Priestess is, out of all the new Satixis and all new sculpts, I think, or for all the new Crick sculpts, oh, no, I can't say that. For all the new Satixis sculpts, I think the Blood Priestess is my favorite, like, single individual
Oh
sculpt.
man, that's such a hard choice for me because between her, Severa Blacktide, and Axiara Wraithblade, like I can't decide.
Yeah.
Like,
All those
I
are
honestly
super
can't
good.
because we had a couple of those the studio models at LVO, and like anytime like someone was at the case where we were displaying them, it gave me an excuse to go look at them more and talk about them. And yeah, I cannot decide.
Yeah, Severa's definitely super cool. Axiara is pretty cool. I just, there's something about the Blood Priestess I just think is just a really nice, she has a really nice silhouette.
Yeah, no, like and the shot that we use for her is just it's perfect. Like
Just good.
See, I'm pretty partial to the gunslingers, but I think it's just because they have pistols.
well, so the gunslingers were the first ones to be released that were the new way of doing the Satixis, right? And that's what got me back into them, right? So those came out, and I love gun mages of like every kind.
Yeah.
Like it's one of my favorite.
Hard to go
pieces of
wrong
the
with a
Iron
gun
Kingdoms.
mage, yeah.
And so those came out. I'm like, I already loved Satixis. These ones are newer and better, and they're gun mages. Yes, please.
Yes, please. Yeah, so this is very much, speaking of the colors I'm using, this is very much the recipe I actually used to paint the gunslingers.
So what is that recipe?
It right now, it is a mix of Trollblood base, underbelly blue, and bastion gray.
So a very cool color to their skin tone.
Yeah, and what the bastion gray is doing is Satixis are very desaturated.
Yeah.
And that's good. It's a very interesting color palette. The Trollblood base actually warms it because if you make them too cool, they look dead or frozen.
Right.
So you want to put warmth. You want to hide warmth into flesh to make it look more alive. Not the Trollblood base, but the Trollblood or the Bastion Gray kind of does that. Kind of allows a
mutes it a
little
little
bit
bit.
of that in there. Desaturates, adds a touch of warmth. Now I'm going to start shading. So I'm going to add more Bastion Gray and beaten purple because you need that purpley skin tones. So we're just going to make up another. Oh, we don't have a palette cam, but I'm going to keep my base color in one reservoir and mix my shade color in another reservoir. That way I maintain my base color for future use.
And one more time, because I was busy elsewhere, what are the colors you're using for the base tone and then for the shade?
The base tone is Trollblood base, underbelly blue, and just a dippy dap of Bastion Gray, just to desaturate.
And then over on Facebook, Erin Pritchard asks if she's in the store yet. And technically, yes, Scar 3 is available to pre-order right now at
Yes.
store.privateerpress.com. If you do so before March 7th, you do get the super dope Black Anchor Heavy Industries bandana as well for free. And, of course, free shipping.
And a bandana, because I have bandana.
So I actually have one of the old school, like, you know, PP Scully logo bandanas that a friend gave me back when he worked here in the long, long ago in the before time. And I actually still use it, like, all the time, like when we're at shows and setting up. It's just a good way to keep the sweat out of my eyes. And rock the brand.
Yeah, I got a couple of those. I got the pink one, I got the orange one, and I got black one.
And then Hungerford is in the chat, and he says, what's better than watching Dallas paint on a Thursday morning? Literally nothing.
Eating gumbo.
While watching Dallas paint on a Thursday morning.
He also throws in riding a roller coaster, but if you're riding a roller coaster while you're watching Get Your Paint On, please take a photo of that and send it to us.
Right. Yeah.
Or just do it, actually. Like, forget the photo. Go find a roller coaster. Watch Get Your Paint On while riding.
That would be amazing.
Hungerford will go with you.
Hungerford will 100% go with you. I mean, hell, I'll go with you. I love roller coasters.
Roller coasters are dope.
Next episode, Get Your Paint On, live from a roller coaster.
Oh, my
That-
God.
No, that's not happening.
Dreams, man. Don't shut it down until we've
I-
talked
I-
about it.
I have to shut it down. Only because that's too awesome, and to not follow through on that is just mean.
What I heard was too awesome, and then I don't know why we continued to talk about it after that.
All I'm hearing,
Too awesome just means find a way.
I got access
Okay,
to the,
if you have a way to set that up, Tony, I'm all for it.
I have access to the Privateer Press Facebook. We can just go live. We just go live, and we can just gorilla your paint on again. And I'll just deal with the
While on a
repercussions when I
roll.
get back on Monday. I'll just deal with the email on Monday. I just love the idea of holding the camera. Okay, so I got the camera out in front of me, right? I'm
Well, no,
like,
you
I'm
gotta
like,
you gotta have someone else holding the camera.
just I got it out in front of me. I'm on the front of the roller coaster because that's where I ride, and I'm just like shaking all over the place. I'm just like, ah. So what you want to do is add a drop of mixing medium.
I'm kind of sad people couldn't see that. That was amazing.
What I want to hear is the go round every time the show lasts longer than the roller coaster will actually make one entire loop. So as you come around trying to convince the roller coaster crew that you don't have to get off right then.
Yeah.
that you can
Right,
just keep
that you need to
and just
stay.
this off camera like,
Yeah.
no, it's a TV show, dude. Yeah, for painting.
Yeah.
No, it's nothing to do with roller coasters. But I gotta stay on. But I think if anybody could do it, Dallas could.
I'm gonna convince the guy at the roller coaster. I'm just gonna be like, dog, listen. Do you like dope stuff?
Do you like things that are awesome and metal?
Because you're making it dope right now. You kick me off, you're not making
Not
it dope. You just removed all the dope.
You want to be a helper or a herder?
That's right. If you're not gonna help, don't hinder.
Negotiating Tactics 101 with Dallas Camp on Get Your Paint On.
My son has
Like,
heard
you have two options here, buddy.
my son has
be
heard that
awesome
quote so many times.
or
I'm like,
not.
whoa, if you're not gonna help, don't hinder. Just get the hell out of my way.
James Keller on Twitch does point out an interesting, a thing you would have to consider. How would you not get paint on everybody else on the ride?
That's just part of doing business, dog.
Look,
So the answer is not a concern.
Correct.
omelets and eggs. That's what I'm saying.
Gotta get paint all over the place sometimes in order to, paint a miniature on a roller coaster.
So I used to make short films, and my favorite. So we, no paid actors, right? We're talking like,
What?
yeah, we didn't pay anybody, and we'd be like, all right, in this shot, we got to jump over this fence and climb up that tree and jump out of the tree, and they'd be like, oh, I'm gonna get hurt, and I'm like, dude, pain is temporary, art is forever. You know how many arguments you win with that? It was like, oh yeah, art is forever.
Also, the hospital bill is yours. Just saying.
Yeah, I'm just saying you not paying for anything.
Privateer Press assumes no liability for doing anything Dallas says, does, or implies.
Accurate. I'm a loose cannon. All right, so I'm just blending in my little shadow color with
And you
zero
added a little.
light.
You
Beaten
added a little
purple.
bit of purple to this. Beaten
Beaten
purple.
purple.
I'm like really behind on the.
I got you, dog.
He got wrapped up in the Tony. You're all wrapped up in the talk of roller coaster riding that we're gonna do, unbeknownst to anybody else.
Yeah, unbeknownst to anybody who isn't on the internet.
Man, I know lots of people not on the internet. This is not as popular as that people make it out to be. The internet hype, it's hype.
Definitely hype.
Definitely way less people on the internet than one would assume.
It's like the same 20. Different avatars.
Yeah, it's all just different names. Actually, I talked about this last night. How many different names are you known by in your life right now? and how unique of a situation that is for humanity, right? Like for most of human like existence, you were known by like, I mean, you might have been known for like Ugg for a while, right? And then like
Going
later,
to the way back.
right,
We're
and then
just
like
jumping
later on
way
you
back
became
machine, Mr. Peabody.
Ugg because you were Ugg,
Right.
And like we progressed and we added surnames and we adapted and got titles and stuff like that. But you were pretty much known as one thing, right? Now with the internet culture, right, and right now in society, how many different names do you personally have?
Well, and also out of all the names that a person may personally have, how many of them were self-chosen?
Yeah, that's the other thing.
Like,
You don't choose your
You
name.
Yeah, and choose your handle.
I got like 50 handles I've chosen because I'm just like that's what I need to be known on this format.
Do they call them handles anymore? Or
Yeah.
are we doing a 90s
Is it handles?
throwback? Is
Yeah,
it still handle?
Yeah, handle.
Like if you ask somebody what your handle
my,
is?
my CB handle was in the 90s
What's
because I had a
that?
CB in my 77 Maverick.
Buttered toast.
I had a 77 Maverick. It was a 3-door, 4 with one welded shut. I'm not even joking. I spray painted my Maverick. Like I spray painted
Wow.
like American
How many cans does it take?
several. Like it
Yeah.
had a big P symbol on the hood
Yeah.
and like it spray painted flames outside. That's what I drove all through high school. It was amazing. It was the best car I ever had. My CB handle on my Maverick though was Swampy Weasel. I'm just saying.
I'm writing that down for
That-
reasons.
For reasons. That
This is the swamp weasel. Somebody give me a radio check.
copy.
Copy. Over. Over under. Over under over under done.
Swamp Weasel needs to get back to painting.
Swamp weasel.
The swamp weasel.
Hungerford, can we get verification in chat on Swamp Weasels?
Them swampy weasels. They're a reckless type of critter. All right, there's just some more shadow on her. Right there. Blend that out. Like that.
Nathan Howard is saying Swamp Weasel equals mini crate model? Question mark.
Oh man. I don't even know what that would be.
Swamp Gobber wearing a weasel costume.
Oh god. That would be amazing.
Driving your old car.
Dude, that Maverick. Ah.
Well, I gotta pull up a picture of this car because it sounds cool. 77 Maverick.
It's the derpy brother to the Mustang.
Yep.
It just is.
Dude, but as far
I
as
dig it.
as far as a car for high school,
Yeah,
yeah.
Oh,
that's dope.
it was the ultimate high school car. Like it had straight six in it, right? It rusted out everything. Everything was rusted in it.
Oh, then I found a picture of your car right.
Wait, are you serious?
There's one that's pretty rusty. Yeah.
I probably got a picture of my car. I'll try to find it.
Swamp Weasel in the Rusty Maverick. That sounds like something that pushes the
I'm
PG-13 rating of the show.
I'm just saying. When I first bought it, it had an 8-track in it. I had to take the 8-track out, and then I totally had the Discman Velcroed to the dash.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And that first.
That 20-second EPS or whatever. Yeah.
Oh,
This is turning into like a special throwback high school episode.
It's
for,
Thursday, dog. We
for
can
all
throw
of
back
us,
we
yeah.
want.
and those first few
Throwback
CDs you
Thursdays.
bought, do you remember the first few CDs you purchased?
I do.
Mhm.
Yep. Golly.
Now, the first albums that I bought were still on cassette.
Oh yeah. I mean, the first things.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It was all cassette.
But the first album that I bought on CD, I actually remember which one it is. It was the self-titled Alice in Chains album, the one with the three-legged dog on the
Yeah,
CD.
yeah.
Yep.
My first one. Well,
I feel like you got into the game pretty late on CDs then.
I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't.
Well, because
get
I
in
already
early.
had the cassettes. CD players were expensive.
Yeah, yeah.
But when I finally got my Discman, oh snap!
God, that was like a magic day. You're just like, finally, I own CDs. And there was that one kid in school that had like, he was like real early adopter because his parents had money.
Mm-hmm.
You're just like, oh man, it's so dope having those CDs. The sound quality is so awesome.
I didn't care about the sound quality. I didn't even, really pay much attention to the difference in whether it was good or not. I just like the fact that if I wanted to listen to a song over and over or skip ones, I didn't have to go
Yeah.
and then like kind of hit and miss forever.
Yeah.
Now, was I the only person who
Button
thought they were like
press.
the ultimate in rewinding and fast forwarding to precisely the moment when the next song was?
No, I think we all felt a certain
Did
amount
we-
of pride. Yeah.
When you could, you're
Yeah.
like,
When you just hit it perfectly.
gosh, you're just like, hang on.
beautiful.
You just hit fast forward. You're just like, you're counting. And they're like, stop it. You're like, nope. And you hit it. You're just like, it's empty. There's no sound. You're like,
Yeah. Oh, but then you have to stop it at that moment and give yourself a minute to appreciate what just happened.
yeah. You're just like, nailed it. Nailed it. I'm the master at fast forwarding and rewinding. So good. Oh my God. I'm going to go back to cassettes. You know what? Screw it.
Okay, I'm gonna get old man a little bit. I do.
Okay,
I
just now, huh?
I appreciate the playlist, and I like being able to make them. But I have to admit there's something missing for me on a constructed playlist that is a certain magic from a
In a mixtape.
mixtape.
Yeah.
Oh,
Where
yeah.
you act because of the amount of
Effort.
actual elbow grease that had to go into constructing.
Well, yeah, especially if you had to
a
get those
cas- a
songs off the
mixtape.
radio.
Oh my God, are you
Right?
kidding?
You
Yeah.
had to listen very carefully. Maybe you actually had to request the song be played.
Oh, I've totally
and then
done
you had
that.
to hope that the DJ wasn't freaking talking his ramp over it.
Seventh grade. I'm not going to say her name. Totally made a mixtape for a girl. And like, I spent all night listening to the radio, and you got your fingers on the record button. You got the record down. You got the pause, right? You're just waiting. I had to request the song that I want to start the mixtape, because you have to start with the first song and the last song of the mixtape
Our key.
are key.
They're
Like, if
key.
you screw up the first song,
You're not getting them to listen to the rest of the
no one's
mixtape.
going to the Valentine's Day dance with you.
Right.
Everlast says
Lesson learned.
cassettes are cool again. To which I would say, I'm not sure they are ever not cool.
I agree.
They just
But
became.
I think Guardians
difficult
of the
to use.
Galaxy like
Ah,
highlighted
that
the
probably
concept of the
didn't- that probably
mixtape
didn't
and
hurt.
kind of made it cool again.
Sorry, I got somebody. Josh on Facebook is talking about painting. He's like, I'm confused on how you're doing this flesh shade. I'm gonna have to watch this again because I missed something. Josh, if you tell us what you missed,
I
what you're
and then
confused
Shane actually
on.
already answered that. For
Oh,
him.
there we
He
go.
said, Joshua, you started with a base coat of mixed both the Troll Blood, my brain just stopped.
Why don't we just get Dallas to do a quick recap?
It's Trobla base mixed with Underbelly Blue with a touch of Bastion Gray. Then I added more Bastion Gray and Beaten Purple for a first shade. And now I'm adding more Beaten Purple for a second shade.
Ba-boom.
A badoom.
It's almost like we have the painter right here and can ask him questions.
Yeah, that's what I'm here for. I'm here to help. I mean, we're going to ramble.
Power of the live stream.
Well, that's what people don't know is,
We're gonna
John and I are in the New York office.
Yeah.
Dallas is in the LA office. We are coast to
Right.
coast.
Right.
Oh my God, that'd be great. Coast to coast. Privateer Press, coast to coast. Or toast to
We
toast.
now are, in fact, coast to coast because Robert Villeneuve just joined the chat.
Oh, hi, Robert.
That is literally coast to coast. I'm sure some of my East Coast posse rolling up in here. East Coast posse! What? Trying to remember. She does have metal gloves, right? Yes.
They're whatever you want them to be, Dallas.
That's true. Hashtag my army, my way. All right, now we're going to make a new color. This is the one that confuses people.
Tony, get ready. New color time.
So this is going to be
I'm on it.
beaten purple.
The beaten purple can stay.
Traitor green.
I'm moving things around.
and a touch of Midland flesh.
Beaten purple, Trader green, Midland flesh. But
Yep.
just a touch of the Midland flesh.
Just a touch. So what this does is makes a darker, warmer color, adds a little touch of green. The Midland flesh is actually a desaturator on this one, so it's desaturating that beaten purple, so it's not, vibrant taffy, right? This also moves a little on the brown side, and you just want this in like the super deep recesses. So let's see if I can do this still.
Shane says, really, guys, a coast-to-coast comment and no reference to Scar being on a ghost boat? No, Shane, because that would have been too easy.
We don't do too easy around here.
No, everything must be difficult.
If it's easy, it's not worth doing.
You don't expand the horizons of human achievement by taking the easy path.
That's true. The only growth comes through adversity. That's why when you're like, I don't want to get into that. I'm just being mean, flippant. I'm not here to do that today. So I'm just leaving this on the very darkest sides of stuff, and maybe a little dark lining, like between her skin and boot. Not a lot. This does not take a bunch.
So while you're doing that, I'm going to plug once again that I want to see what the folks that are watching the show are painting. So if they share their pictures on Instagram or Twitter or Facebook, so long as the Facebook post is public, with the hashtag #PlayItPainted, we can share those in a future stream.
Yeah.
And that would make me really happy because I think that's the second favorite part of my job is looking at other people's paint jobs.
Would love to have a segment on the show where we show off what you guys are all working on.
We have that technology. We can show it off. We can talk about what you did.
Whoa. Let's not make promises.
Oh, I'm sorry.
We have the technology.
I'm just saying we had the technology.
But we do.
And we could.
Dallas is correct.
Just
We
because I like
could,
seeing dope
we
stuff.
should, and if they send us the pictures, we would.
We will.
All right, what's next? Highlights. Carnal pink. Oh, let's put some of these colors away.
Now, are you mixing the Carnal Pink into your previous layer, or is this a different layer?
This is going to be a new color. Let me put some of these other pinks away real quick. Get these out of my way.
Keeping your space tidy.
So I got Carnal pink, Rin flesh, underbelly blue, and just a scoochy scooch of that beaten purple, just to bring it back to purple. And yes, this is a very complex color palette. I totally understand that. This is a lot of mixing. Here on Get Your Paint On, I like to do, we do a lot of, straightforward painting. But sometimes I want to get some mixes going on here and just have some fun with some paints.
What was that first color, Dallas? I thought I grabbed it, but I
Rin
didn't.
flesh.
Yeah, Rin flesh, underbelly blue, beaten purple, and what was the first?
Carnal pink.
Carnal pink.
You know what? Because it's already here, I'm just going to grab some of this first shade for that purple. That's fine. I'm just going to grab that. A little touch more carnal pink. Just lighten her up.
Nevin Flanagan talking about how he is priming up his Gwen Keller and unit of Stormsmith Grenadiers for Company of Iron. Nevin, when you've got them all painted up, send us some pictures.
Band name. Gwen Keller and the Grenadiers. Oh, man. Somebody had the idea for a feet name yesterday. That was amazing. I can't remember what it was now. Man, what was that? It was really good. Oh, well. Now it's gone. let's do some highlights. So I'm just going to keep these highlights on the most prominent features. Oh, that's a little bright. I'm going to tone that down just a touch. There we go.
And when
One
you
more
say tone it down, what did you use to tone it down?
I just grabbed some of my purple color. It's just a little too poppy.
So just a little bit more of the color to tie it all together.
Yeah. Just bringing it back in line with the rest of the model. It's a little dry in here, so I have to work with my blends. In the studio, when we film all this stuff, there's a lot of lights, so it does make blending very tricky sometimes.
So when you paint for tabletop and you're painting at home, Dallas, how much light are you using? Are you using like the amount of light that you think would be typical for the setting that they're going to be viewed in most often, or just whichever amount of light makes it more comfortable for you to paint?
I use what's appropriate for Dallas. Like I like a lot of light. It's just studio lights are very hot.
Mm-hmm.
Like it gets very hot. We're in a room. There's 3 of us. There's computers. There's a bunch of lights. It gets warm.
Toasty. Yeah.
At home, it's much more open, of course, but I use a very bright light, and I use natural light to paint by. Yeah, it's real dry.
I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure that's anything we've ever really talked about on Get Your Paint On. Can you tell people like what effect having either natural light from a nice window source or from color corrected bulbs will do to the colors on a miniature?
Yeah, so I mean, you're getting into color theory a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
but if you have a cool or a warm light bulb, it's going to affect the way the colors look on your miniature.
Sure.
So by going with a natural light bulb, you get a more accurate looking colors.
Mhm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well,
So like one of those daylight bulbs.
Yeah.
so
Those
if
things
you're
are great.
if you're painting at home with typical lamps or typical bulbs that most
Incandescent.
people would have, what is happening to the colors?
They're changing. They
Yeah.
totally
You're
look
seeing
different
them.
colors.
You're seeing them in a much warmer light.
Yeah, warmer or cooler, depending on your light bulbs. But yeah, that's what's happening.
And then Dane says, "Feet, play it painted. Make a POW 14 magical damage roll against all unpainted models on the table."
Yeah.
I love that.
That's if Dallas was a war captain.
I love that
would be his
rule.
feat. Yeah. So when we make Dallas 2, Abracadallas, because there is no Dallas 1, there's just a Dallas 2.
Andy made a Warcaster card of me.
Andy Welton?
Yeah,
Yeah, I saw that.
I have to find that again. Well, I mean, I have it. I can't remember what my feet was. Oh my gosh.
See, I just like the idea that, like, I'm definitely I like to put painted models on the table. I don't like to see
Mhm.
unpainted models there. That you start your game and
Mhm.
any unpainted model, just a once per game,
Just boom.
auto POW 14 against every model with no paint on it.
I dig it.
See ya.
Alberto says, "Should I not be painting my studio scheme Menoth with my hue lights set to bright purple?"
Probably not.
But your army, your way.
You do what you do.
Pup Ketrick says, "Man, his work meetings are nearly making him miss Get Your Paint On."
Tell them that you've got to go. It's
Yeah,
super important to be here.
You call your boss
I appreciate your dedication
and you say,
to Get Your Paint On.
I got stuff to do.
They'll understand. They'll know where your priorities lie and that you have commitment.
They'll be like, this guy, man, he's dedicated. We should do something that makes him feel dedicated to us.
Meetings are filled with budgets and schedules.
That's how you get raises.
Get Your Paint On is filled with painting and talking of cassette tapes.
and joy, and wonder, and splendor.
It's magic.
All things that after you watch the show, you can take back into your daily life at work and make it that much better. That's how you get promotions and raises, people.
This is how you grow as a person.
Yeah.
Accurate. been a while since I painted a Texas, it feels like.
I'm actually going to give a shout out to my favorite Satixes so far that I've seen painted. Cat Martin Scar Bust.
Oh, yeah.
That is amazing. That was the one from the Grandmaster 2 years ago?
Yeah, 2 years ago. Yeah, she did a really good job on that.
Like, when I go to paint my Satixes, that is one of the things I will be using as a reference, especially for Scar, because she just nailed it as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, it's kind of the epitome of Scar-ness. Alright, it's getting tricky down here. It's like rocking a rhyme.
Alberto is asking if he should not be painting his studio scheme Menoth with hue lights set to bright purple.
We already asked that,
Oh,
Tony.
oh, jeez.
Pay attention. Damn, son.
Tony.
Meanwhile, Nate Brooks, the person who sculpted the ship
What?
for Scar 3, is in the chat and says, one of the nice things about being able to work from home is being able to watch you get your paint on each week.
How's it going, Nate? You did a fantastic job.
And as a reminder, once the show wraps up and I can get back to my desk, there's an insider co-written by Mr. Nate Brooks about sculpting the ship and the captain and the crew with Doug Hamilton that will be going live.
Is Doug in the chats?
I don't know. I haven't seen him.
Doug, where you at, boy? Get in here.
He's probably working, maybe.
I mean,
Or wandering around St. Louis with that, big fuzzy pimp coat thing he's got. That coat is majestic. Got to see it in person at LVO when he showed up. I want it.
I mean, that's a word for it.
Have you seen it in person, though, Dallas?
I have not.
Okay.
Not yet.
Dallas, there's a question for you from Rehab 110. He's working on commandos and needs to start over. What's the best way to strip the paint off of the metal resin?
I'm not a big fan of stripping paint. That's just me. I think it's too much work.
So you do like I do and just paint over it?
You can paint over it, it's fine as long as you paint it in thin coats.
Yeah, like just very, very thin. You can start changing the hues on things.
Yeah,
pretty
as long as
easily,
it's
actually.
pretty thin, you can change the colors. I'm actually a big fan of. It's just so much work to strip. I just buy new models. Like,
I did the same thing a couple of times as well, just buying new ones even before I started working here. Like for some of my really old models that I just was super unhappy with. Like they were seeing a lot of use on the table, but they didn't match my army anymore
yeah,
because it was just
it's just too much work for me.
way too early in my painting, and it just was one of those things of, yep, buy the new unit. But try doing the thin layers of shades on
Yeah.
top. See how that works, because sometimes when you can just shift the hues a little bit and pick out some of the details a little differently, it makes all the difference.
That can work. I need some light coming from here. Can I move this?
Give me 1 sec.
There we go. Thank you.
So one of the things that the viewers can't see as Tony adjusts these lights is the hardware that holds all these lights up is actually pretty robust. You actually have to have a decent amount of strength to move them without biffing people in the head. So it's always fun to watch because you never know when it's going to happen. It's just going to right onto his dome.
I recommend push-ups.
I was successfully unbiffed. And as you can see, I'm kind of doing like multiple very thin highlights to create the look I want. Not everything has to be done in one pass. You can kind of build it in and work into the look you're going for. I guess sometimes it's better that way. We're actually going to hide that side in shadow just a touch. So we'll bring that back around with some dark colors to blend that highlight into itself. Something like that.
Man, I know you're in the middle of, painting like the Satixes. But the other thing I'm really excited for with this wave of releases that's coming out for the Black Fleet are those Shard Pirates.
Have we shown those? I don't think we have we?
Yeah, we had some of them at OVO.
Okay.
Yeah, no, they're really, really cool models because they're just, like basically the human, living pirates of Crix.
Yeah,
and
they're super
they
cool
are
models.
stinking dope. I know there's like a couple of really cool pieces of art that showcase those that are going to be in No Quarter 4. Oh my
Yes.
god.
That is accurate. Yeah, I like the Shard Pirates. Those models are super good. And once again, not just for your Crix army, but I got plans for them for like just good RPG pirates and stuff like that as well. So. Kind of want to paint some of them up for Company of Iron, maybe. So I know I'm kind of going back and forth, and this is just kind of process sometimes of painting is kind of working into what you're doing, kind of getting the color you want.
Yeah, lots of little layers to push it the direction you want it to go.
Just kind of having fun.
I think that's my favorite part of painting. Like my favorite part of painting, like a long time ago, used to be like when the model was done and like whether or not I thought I did a good job. But now more and more, it's the actual just playing with
Just
the paint,
having a good time.
and seeing what kind of different things come out from trying different techniques and stuff like that. Like my painting is definitely, since doing these videos and stuff, become much more theoretical.
Theory-based painting.
Or maybe just experimental is maybe a better word.
Tony's all about that theory.
Oh, I just it can be a little, it can be a little daunting at first, but I find it very helpful for being able to get away from recipes. This is the way you have to do something, and being able to experiment and find new techniques and discover your own, and just use is logic the right word? Just using process to invent new process.
Yeah.
That sounded like you know what you're talking about.
It kind of did. I was trying real hard to
like
make it sound that way. The truth is that I go back and watch the videos that we make all the time to refresh my memory on painting stuff. In fact, I just watched Brendan's Worn Metal video the other day to paint up some rust and grime.
Yeah.
And just had to watch through that just to remind myself what was happening.
And did it work?
It absolutely worked. Yeah, it looked great.
There you go.
Tim Stevens is asking, Dallas, have you or Danny made any progress on the Dracodiles that you guys were working on? And I know Danny had an insider that showed kind of the process of zombifying it, basically start to finish from the modeling standpoint. But I have seen on his desk that he is still actually working on the painting side.
Yeah, I'm still painting mine. I've not made as much progress as I would like.
But one of the things that we're hoping to do in the not too distant future is kind of a where are they now, and revisit some of the projects that Dallas has started on the stream and tighten them up, finish them up where possible, stuff like that.
So many projects, so little time.
Most of it my fault.
So many things to paint in a day. I wish I had 49 hours. Or a clone.
Would you really want a clone though?
Yep.
Yeah. That was a super fast answer. You're like, yep.
Yep.
Apparently, he's given this some thought.
Yeah, because usually when you weigh the considerations on that one, it's kind of one of those. I don't know if maybe that's a good idea. But
Nope, I'm good.
Would you name
done
your
full-on
clone
yep.
Dallas, or
No.
would you allow your clone to call
He can call
itself
himself
Dallas?
Dude, we just talked about this. We all have 20 damn names.
Mm-hmm.
He can call himself whatever he wants.
So you're giving him autonomy.
Yeah.
Okay.
But the thing is, if he's my clone, he won't want autonomy. He'll just be like, yeah, dude, let's do dope stuff. I'll be like, duh. Like, let's do dope stuff, dog.
Nevin says, what should I tag in a tweet to share a picture with us? Hashtag play it painted. And then Gabriel asks, Dallas, what armies do you play and collect?
Hold on. Let me check. Let me check the time. Let me check the time. I think we got it. I think we could squeeze it in.
Point. What are your favorite 3 currently?
Favorite 3 currently to
play.
play and or collect?
Yeah.
Okay. Kador is always number 1. Hands down. Sorsha, 3. So good. Zerkova. Favorite caster.
Zerkova is, I think, one of my favorite casters, period.
She's my favorite caster. She's my favorite character. Behemoths. Come on. That's a big damn jack. I really liked collecting the Grimkin. Which I painted all of those. I just got an Archangel because I think that's an amazing model. So there's a lot of cool Legion stuff. Trenchers are always dope. Protector, it's fun to paint.
What about them Steel Creel?
Steel Krill's awesome.
We're way past top
way
3
past
at this
3.
I
point.
know. And I'm just going to say Crucible is looking
Pretty tasty.
super dope.
Yeah.
Did y'all see that solo?
Yes.
I haven't yet.
Tony,
We'll
that's
talk-
on the
we'll
show.
talk later.
So good.
We'll have a little secret meeting.
I'm going to tell you right now, it might be one of the best looking models we've ever made. It's not even a joke.
So-
It's not even hyperbole.
Right. Without it being hyperbole, right? Because I've seen what you're talking about, and it's freaking dope. I have been able to say that at least once a month for like the last 8 months.
Yeah.
It's like I've always liked the aesthetic of our models, and I've always really been into both the game world itself, because I got in back in the day with the RPG because of the art, and then stuck around because
Sure.
it played dope. And then got into War Machine when it came out, Hordes when it came out, took a break for a little bit. But I've always been into the aesthetic. But over like the last 8, maybe 12 months, it just seems like everything has been cranked to 11 as far as like how freaking dope each of these models looks.
Totally agree. Elite team of badasses.
And I
Provides
think one of the reasons that I like that so much is it's not making any of the older models look bad, because the aesthetic completely matches, so everything still fits. But I mean, like New Siege, that model's freaking amazing.
Yeah, he's super rad. Super rad. Speaking of super rad, I don't know how much time we have left.
We have 5 minutes.
Do we want to show my bag?
Your bag?
I brought a bag.
What's
You
in
brought
the
a bag?
What's in the bag, dog?
What's in the bag? What's in the bag? What's in the bag? Hang on, I'm painting some
Tim
eyes.
Stevens asks, when are we going to see some more Crucible Guard models? Tim, the answer to that is probably fairly soon.
Soon,
Like, I know
yeah.
there's a lot of them that are still like going through production, and we try to be careful not to show those off at certain phases because they might change a lot. And so it's no fun to have a spoiler and then have something go a different direction for whatever reason. But I believe soon. And then Pagani and Oz did a spoiler of the current rules for one of the Warcasters for Crucible Guard yesterday.
Yeah.
on their Dev Hangout stream.
Gearhart and Mr. Clog, is that right?
Crag? Is it Clog? Or
Clog.
Clog, yeah. Regardless, that is such a neat model concept, at least as far as the rules are concerned. I haven't seen the model itself yet, but as far as the rules, that dude's neat.
Yeah, Warcast with a gun caddy.
Yeah.
The model is super cool. I will tell people. And I'm going to just say, I see a lot of comparisons to those two characters. I don't think anybody quite understands Clog. Like, that dude's not weak
No.
and puny.
No.
Like, he's buff.
Okay.
Well, yeah, you got to carry around
Yeah.
all that equipment.
Yeah.
You can't be like some little dude. Like
No,
the
he's a
exception is if you're like a little
buff
whelp and you're carrying around the
bro.
Pied Piper's sword.
He's hauling stuff, and then Baldwin is like a competent dude. Like, that dude's not a
no slouch, no chump.
yeah, he's not a chump. He's competent.
Nathan Howard says he really likes the Dev Hour addition to the PB stream lineup. Well, thank
I
you.
would agree.
We're looking forward to actually doing that every week because I think it's important to get to hang out with everybody a little bit.
Yeah, and just for those of you who don't know, yesterday we did a Dev Hangout talk with Oz and Will Pagani, just kind of giving us a little update on what's happening in the dev world at Privateer. And so hopefully, yeah, we'd like to do that every week.
And they did call out for what kind of topics folks would like to see covered. So make sure to let us know what kind of things you'd like them to talk
Let
about.
us know. Talk to us.
Because, I mean, the whole reason we do any of these streams is for you guys. So if we're not covering stuff that you want to see, we would like to know what that is so we can.
Including this show.
Mm-hmm.
Like, let me know what you want to see. I aim to please.
Oh, that's a good question. So Dane asks, relevant to the model you're looking on right now, or some of the other ones as well. How do you differentiate metal on metal without it looking like it's the same thing? He doesn't want the guns to look like a mass of one colored metal.
So a big thing is true metallic metals,
Mm-hmm.
using contrasting highlights and shadow placements. You can also use different shades for different areas of the gun to create more contrast. It's really just about contrast. Also keeping the same color metals away from each other when you're designing your palette.
Mm-hmm.
We're really good about that in the studio. When Mike Valancourt, art director, does the initial color passes and we go over them, I'm always looking at like where the contrast is going to lie on the miniature. And he's really good about like keeping metals away from metals. So like if there's two places of silver, we try to make one of brass or stuff like that. So
One of the other things that I've noticed, and this is just kind of a call out to some of the newer colors, is that the Caspian and Cossite flesh washes mix into metals really well.
that's true. They
Like
do.
I was playing with that a little bit, and it lets you, even if you are sticking with a similar metal, which Dallas just went over some really good reasons to change it up. But if you are sticking with something kind of similar, but you want different parts to look different, go warmer or cooler with some of those washes, and huge deal.
That's
Huge
yeah,
deal.
that's exactly kind of what I was touching on, is like creating just contrast between them. Like it's very easy to do that in your shades or your highlights, and then also just placement of both of those things. Let's block her in just a little bit. I want to kind of see where she's at. I feel like I'm getting a little lost in the forest on her.
And while that's going on, I'm seeing a number of comments for more CCAT gets, Mr. Josh Cologne, stuff like that. So good news, everybody. You will be getting more of them.
Yeah, I really liked having the story guys, the writers on. Like that's really nice to be able to sit here. It allows me to, while I'm painting, kind of get into the story more. I mean, I'm pretty entrenched. I'm not as versed as, you know, say Josh or Getz or CCAT, of course, especially CCAT. I mean, hell, that guy wrote it all. So sitting here painting and thinking about the character, but actually having somebody kind of go through the character, like it really helps me get into the painting of the character and kind of feel connected and help me tap into the look of the subject of the painting.
Absolutely. In fact, I think we're going to have one or both of them on here with you next week to do similar stuff as you continue working on Skarre.
Ooh. More work on Skarre with CCAT and Getz. Because they know what they're talking about when it comes to characters and stories.
So,
Privateer Press.
while we're closing down, one of the things folks should probably think about is what questions they might have for them in regards to Skarre. So that when one or both of them is on with you next week, we're ready to go with those questions.
I'm going to have to get my questions ready.
Yeah, well, yeah.
I'll be like, how does Skarre... I don't know. I'm not even going to try to make something up off the top of my head right now. I'm kind of painting a little tiny hair on the side of her head, so I'm a little zoned out. I'm in the alpha zone. All right. That's good enough for this week, I think. I got a Skarre.
Starting to come together.
Wrap it up.
Wrap it up. Let's show something off in what's in my bag. Do you
Oh,
wanna
yeah,
show
yeah.
something?
Let's search in your bag.
So we all see Skarre. She on the screen good?
Yep.
Skarre.
And that was a nice little zoom in.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was going to show this off, and everybody's seen this assembled, but I just really want to give a sense of
Well, especially with Mr.
What's
Nate
going on?
Brooks in the chat.
what's going on. So I got my bag here. Let's clean this up.
Oh, you've got the piece that's the soul wave.
So there's the soul wave.
Hold it up higher. Hold it right there. Right there. Hang on to that.
There's a soul wave. And then
Hold up. He's
Hold
got
up, hold up, hold up,
he's
hold
got to
up.
get his focus.
We gotta give everybody a chance to see it. There we go.
Oh yeah.
So look how big that is.
Thing is so dope.
I don't have super little hands, but I don't have super big hands, but you get a sense. Let's pre-3 pot for scale.
And up just a little higher. There.
There we go.
That's the sweet spot.
That's the back of the boat.
Nate says soul wave is a new music genre.
Soul wave.
Little higher. There you go.
This little guy plugs in the back here. This hasn't been cleaned. I need to clean this. I'm not ready.
Oh, that's dope. I haven't really seen the back of that.
It's Skarre's like personal emblem. So it plugs into the back, and then it's got some
Oh, that's so cool.
some super cool rails that plug in. Like I said, I'm not cleaned this yet.
I love all the skulls that are hiding all over the place on this model.
And they just plug right in. And then it's got a lower deck. Badoosh.
Skadoosh.
Well, it's got the deck.
Can
And
you
then it's got
hold that a little higher and tilt it forward so they can see the broken edge of that deck?
Yeah.
The higher, higher, higher. There you go.
it's got
Whoa.
That's why we can't have nice
it's
things.
got the lower deck.
With gun ports.
It's got gun ports for guns. It's got 2 cannons. It's got a little floor down in there, and then the
That
soul
the
wave.
soul wave comes up in
Whoa, I
through.
just made a mess. And then the soul wave plugs up in there, holds it all together.
And we've got some sweet photos of the renders of those pieces.
Yeah.
That will show up in the Insider that we'll be posting here in a couple minutes.
And of course, the studio paint one by Brendan. Mr. Brendan Roy
Yep.
painted it all up, made it look super pretty. Dat boy.
All right. So while you do parting thoughts, I'm actually going to run over my desk and publish that Insider so that when you're done, people can just go right over to privatechippress.com. It'll be on the front page.
And read the Insider.
So I'll be back.
All right, everybody. I will see you next week. And until next time, keep getting your paint on, keep practicing your painting, and keep painting for fun. And cassettes are dope.
Make some mixtapes. Thanks for watching.
See you next week. Bye. I'm on a boat with Skarre, riding my boat with Skarre, riding a boat with Skarre.